Thank you all again for joining me on the Content Bebop. Today, I have with me
Hashbrown Cosplay.
Hashbrown Cosplay. Tell us who you are and what it is that you do.
So I'm a content creator. I'm a cosplayer from the area. I live in Georgia. And what I do is just make my own armor and costumes, and then usually compete with them or wear them around the con. And it's just it's a great hobby to have. So that's what I do.
Is it? So is it something you do for fun, or is this a business?
Yeah. So it started out just for something I did for fun. My first con ever was MomoCon 2015.
Oh, really?
And
wow.
yeah, and I came just to have a good time and didn't really know what cosplay was or how to get into it. And once I saw the amazing cosplays here that everybody did, I said to myself that I want to do that. So the next year I started making my own cosplays, getting things, and then really just started going into the fabrication aspect of cosplaying.
Oh, really?
Started an Instagram page and a Facebook page, and have just kind of gained a nice little niche audience and support group.
I think that's great. I think that's great. So how does someone because you're obviously not a beginner anymore, just looking around, and I've been looking on your page and I'm here looking at these items.
Yeah.
You're not a beginner anymore. So how do you even, do you have a background in
No. So I started cosplaying after I graduated college in 2016, and I have a psychology degree.
What?
So yeah, I really got into cosplay. I have always been into book reading, TVs, fandoms. That's always been my go-to. But then once I found out what conventions were, I decided oh my gosh, I can make this stuff, and really fell in love with it. I used to draw and paint and do a little bit of that and dabble in all of that, but when I started getting into cosplay, I got into the fabrication aspect of it and learned a lot of new skills to be able to do this. So
like foam smithing?
Foam smithing,
yes.
yeah.
Okay, tell us about that.
So foam smithing is what cosplayers call the art of working with EVA foam to make costumes like what you can see in the background is all...
Yes. This is amazing, actually.
Thank you. It's all EVA foam. So foam smithing is just the art of being able to make something out of EVA foam. It's a skill, not a talent. It takes time to develop a skill, and I like to say I'm a little skilled, but everybody can learn every day something new. So. Yeah.
So let me ask you. And this is coming from someone of total ignorance on creating their own costumes and armors and things, but are there different, foam smithing obviously is type of are there other as opposed to 3D printing these items and things?
There's so many ways to construct costumes.
Right.
Your imagination is your limit. So I know of people who just sew to make their costumes, and they make amazing ball gown dresses. There are folks who really just stick to 3D printing or foam smiths, and then there's people who do a little bit of everything. I know folks who have used bottle caps to make really cool costumes, make really cool scales that you there's so many ways to make a costume. Don't limit yourself to what you can just see online. Use your imagination.
Right. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So you're also a content creator. What platforms are you using to create your content?
So I'm currently on Instagram the most, followed by Facebook and TikTok. Okay. I've made a few tutorials for YouTube.
Yeah, I saw them. Okay.
So I enjoy posting the cosplay pictures that wonderful photographers who I've worked with in the past we've collaborated on, and that's my favorite part, I think. But with TikTok, learning how to make funny videos is something I really want to get into as well.
Yeah, I'm speaking to a lot of cosplayers here, and that seems to be the thing, Obviously, people like to laugh, and it only helps when they're in such a cool cosplay.
Exactly. Yeah. I think TikTok is really what a lot of cosplayers are using nowadays to reach a new audience.
Yeah. So you're heavy on Instagram, but is there a reason why? Do you just gravitate towards Instagram versus TikTok?
I think I do. I think it's the millennial in me.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah.
That gravitates towards it.
I
Instagram.
personally just got on TikTok, and I thought it was just for younger.
Yeah, I got into it about a year and a few months ago. So I've just I mostly just watch things on TikTok.
Right.
I create a few videos. I try to make funny funny cosplay content videos that people can relate to. So it's really fun. It's a new medium to reach a new audience. So it's fun and challenging and cool to get into, I think.
Okay. So let me ask you, do you have any advice for like newer content creators? And I want to interchange the word content creator and cosplayers, but like, do you have any words for like new people getting into it? Like,
sure. I would say don't overwhelm yourself with what's all out there, right? There's going to be a lot of professionals in anything you do, content creation, cosplaying, and you may think to yourself, wow, I can never get to that level. But I think if you just start, and you'll find that you get better with things over time. And really, the best piece of advice I could give is to find something that you love and stick to it.
Yeah, I found that's, even for myself, because obviously, as I mentioned before we started, that I'm new to like YouTube and creating content myself. I've been so used to being behind the camera, but getting started is just get started.
It's overwhelming.
Yeah, I think people, like you said, they look at the individuals that are like 10 years in, 5-10 years in. It's like, I could never get to that level, but you just want to start. You know, you don't know what you can do. You know,
everybody starts somewhere, and if you don't love what you're doing, then you may need to ask why you're doing it.
This is true.
Yeah.
This is true. So how's the con been treating you so far? How do you like it this year?
MomoCon's been great.
Really?
Yeah, I'm a guest here this weekend.
Right,
I was invited as an official cosplay guest, and
that's
it's been such an honor.
Really? Okay, so you'll be back next year?
I hope to be. If they invite me back, that would be fantastic.
I'm sure they will. How about Dragon Con? Do you attend Dragon Con as well?
I do enjoy Dragon Con. It's a different con, I think, vibe and atmosphere. But it is also fun. I do try to attend at least one day if I can.
Just one day? Like,
that's the whole 4 days wears me out, or the 5 days that the con goes.
I mentioned that to you before we started, but it's bigger, and that doesn't necessarily mean it's better, but it's just it's so much more walking. Yeah. 4 gigantic hotels and
it's
stuff.
In August, I think, or early September, so it's hot. Right.
Yes, the temperature is different. Right.
Yeah.
It's just different.
Right.
But definitely bigger. What do you think was like the turning point for you when you started like taking this way more seriously? When you was like, hey, I can, like, this is not, I mean, it's always fun, but I can take this to the next level. Like,
yeah, sure. So I think for me, that was when I won my first award at MomoCon 2019. I entered the competition just because I thought it was fun and it was cool to showcase my cosplay. And I won my category for best novice fabrication, so best beginner fabrication. So after that point, I realized, like, hey, I'm not half bad at this, so maybe let's keep trying and see where it goes.
So explain to us that may or may not know. So you say in your division, so obviously there are different divisions.
Sure.
Like what are those divisions?
So for this con specifically, there are a few different divisions for the cosplay competitions.
So they're broken up by the con. Like they're not always, so Dragon Con or San Diego Comic Con may have different.
Yeah, it varies from con to con.
Okay. Are there, so how would one, if you were new to it, stepping into it, so are there any like standards for every con? Like there's always a beginner level.
Sure. Generally, you'll find that there are beginner categories.
Okay.
What the middle category here is called is journeyman. So that's they're not new, but they're not at the master level yet. Right. And then lastly is the master level. So you kind of have beginner, medium, and then
that makes sense.
Master.
So how do they differentiate? What would make you a journeyman versus master level? Like how do they?
So it depends on the con, but most of them have a certain number of awards. So if you have won more than 3 awards at competitions in the past, you'd be considered a master at most cons. If you've won 1 to 2, you'd probably be in the journeyman category. And if you've never won, never competed, then you would be placed in novice. And I do want to clarify, there are distinctions between fabrication and sewing, typically at most places. So most sewers will have their own category, right? And then the fabricators, like 3D printers, foam smiths, are placed in the fabrication category. And then there's a best overall category combining the two. So there's a lot of different categories.
Yeah, it is. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. Actually, that's really cool. Actually, what do you find to be the hardest or the most easiest about? I guess 2 parts. So your content, and then as a cosplayer, like what's, I guess, the easiest part for you, and what seems to be the hardest part for you?
I would say the easiest part for cosplaying is finding things that I want to cosplay, because sometimes I have too many ideas. Wow, I really like this costume and I really like the character. I think I should do this. But then, I've got 20 things on backlog that I want to do. So it's but on the same point, the hardest part about cosplay is probably choosing which one you actually want to make, and then taking the time to do it, because it can be very time consuming.
I'm assuming so.
Yeah,
yes.
for big armor builds, I find myself doing anywhere from like 1 to 200 hours of work.
Really?
So it can take months.
Yeah, right. Especially you have a normal life outside of this.
Exactly.
Like a work-life balance.
Yeah, I've got a full-time job,
right.
a house to maintain, things like that. And then for content creation, I'd say the hardest part is trying to grow your audience. That can be challenging as a cosplayer. And then the easiest thing probably for me is social outreach, networking. I find that pretty easy because there's so many nice people in this community.
There are.
Yeah, cosplayers are amazing.
They are.
Everybody's super nice.
They are. I've ran into nothing but positive energy in people since I've been here.
Yeah.
Okay. When you're creating your content, is there a process for it, or are you one of those that like to plan it out, write a script, or I want to do this, this, and this, or just pick up your phone and press record?
Yeah, typically. So if I find a funny audio for TikTok, I'll save it and just kind of have it in the back of my mind, like, wait, I think I can do this. I think I can use this audio for this situation, and that would be funny.
Yeah, no, that's the beauty of just mobile app, like the TikTok and Instagram. It's like you can just pick up your phone and just kind of go. As opposed to YouTube, where you really have to. Sometimes you really have to plan those out.
Yeah,
the long form content.
If I'm doing a tutorial video, I do have to plan it out. Like what I want to talk about, when I want to talk about it, what I'm going to be filming specifically.
Right. Okay. And lastly, tell us where people can find you.
Oh, you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, as well as YouTube. It's all at Hashbrown Cosplay. Hashbrown like the food, yes.
Okay, last question. Where did the name come from?
I get that a lot.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, my maiden name was Brown, and my first name is Ashley, but everybody called me Ash. So when I was looking for a gamer tag in the early 2000s, for Xbox, I was thinking maybe I could just put Ash Brown for my name, but I want something clever. What should I use? And then realized Hash Brown sounds a lot like Ash Brown.
That's
so that's where it came from.
That's perfect.
Yeah, when I transitioned to cosplay, I just decided Hashbrown Cosplay.
Yeah, that's actually amazing. That's pretty good. Okay.
Everybody tells me, they're like, now I want hash browns, looking at my poster. And so yeah, it's great.
That's funny. Okay, I was very curious. I'm so glad the question came back up.
Yeah.
That's really good. Okay, look, thank you all for joining us. And until the next one, catch you later.
Bye.